geez, off-season hurts.
Doesn't it?
Off-season of the AFL. I do like it now that the trade week is so close.
Yep.
Like it did feel like it was a little bit too close sometimes, but there's enough, a little break so you can digest the grand final.
Yeah.
And then straight back into it. All the speculation, like there's that little rich period there for journos.
Yeah, and I like that the trade week's been, well, even up to leading up to the free agency period, it's been a little bit hostile, which has made it a bit more interesting. Like a few dark horses have come to the front and nabbed a few players, which was not in the best interest of competition, I might say.
It is funny. I heard, I think it was Richardson, or it might have been Chris Pelcher from the Saints.
Yeah.
Was talking about how the inequality in free agency, because you got to remember, free agency isn't an equalisation measure.
Yeah.
It's the AFL Players Association that drove it.
It's a right of a player, more or less.
Yeah. To give them greater control over their careers, because essentially there's only 18 employers in the country.
Exactly.
And he was saying, like, the inequality comes in, the top teams can pay unders for players because they want to go there for success.
Yeah.
So the players like Frawley, who took $200,000 less to go to the Hawks because he wanted a premiership.
Yeah.
So the top teams can pay unders, whereas the bottom teams got to pay overs to get the same kind of player.
Yeah.
Like they paid, Boyd $1 million a year.
Yeah. Just sit on the bench or whatever.
Exactly, to play in the twos.
Play Resies.
But they've got to pay overs to get those teams, and that's where the inequality of it comes up. And it's just a bit of a perfect storm for Hawks.
Yeah, and I think converse to that, on the players' side, you're really unlucky if you're born in like rural Australia or somewhere where you can't use just "I'm homesick" as an excuse. Yeah, because it seems like that's been the sort of excuse of this year, is that homesick, nah, fuck this shit, sick of this team, want to go Freo or Hawthorn, or Collingwood.
Well, fucking Geelong have got everyone. I didn't know Geelong had that many people.
And the thing is, Geelong have got picks as well. Like not only for this draft, but future picks. They're looking pretty good.
Oh, they've tried to give away. They don't give a fuck about drafts. They're bored. They're just trying to get an extra week off.
Exactly. And like, there's going to be Geelong's going to pretty much just be Turak, more or less.
You know what's really, really hurting is that the draft this year is being held in Adelaide.
Is it?
Yeah. So not only are Geelong taking Paddy, they're not even rocking up. They're not even going for the fucking draft. Giving away all their picks. We don't want them.
Not going to tempt fate. Say, Paddy, you're banned from South Australia.
No.
Not going back there. Not going to
smart move.
Find out what you missed out on.
Last year though, I think both WA clubs got nobody.
Yeah.
Fucking making up for it this year.
The thing is, I'm not sure it's a good situation for Freo to have. It's just all these small forwards just trying to... It's like seagulls coming back home to lay their eggs or whatever they're doing, man. They've gone off and they've gone, nah, fuck it. Had enough of the rest of Australia. Going back to Western Australia.
Well, I mean, maybe they just fly in, fly out. So they want some of that mining money. they don't know that it's dried up mostly.
That's true. It's the overtime that you get. It makes a difference, isn't it? They can't send you home.
But it does feel like there's greater interest in the trade period this time around.
Yeah.
There's definitely more action.
Yeah.
More action now. And you see the interest in the general public. It feels almost like Dream Team or fantasy footy.
Yeah, see, I feel like this is sort of... If I could make my own version of The Apprentice, it'll be something like this, where you're just watching big deals go down and seeing who's going to come to the forefront of the best negotiators and who's going to be able to, more or less, to put an F1 analogy in there, to Bernie Eccleston their way to the top, which is just sharpening everyone else and being the most shrewd negotiator with little regard for everything else.
It'd be fantastic to be a fly on the wall just to see what actually goes on.
Yeah.
Because they do it out of Etihad Stadium, don't they? In the corporate suites.
Yeah.
The first day they basically do speed dating for all the clubs to sit down with each other.
Yeah.
And then
pretty rude for Ross Lyon to step in. try and see where he can fit in.
Why not? And then after that, it's pretty much all done over mobile phone.
Yeah.
And most of it's done before then anyway. I think it's just a bit of a formality.
Yeah, I agree. And like there'll be all sorts of manoeuvring come once your season's decided. No matter what team you're for, that's when all the manoeuvring starts.
All the talks and
then
you get guys like Akamanis who's placing his own rumours out there.
Well, I mean, if we had some sort of importance, we'd do the same shit.
Of course we would.
That being said, it's going to be glad to see Nick Rewalt down at the Tigers next year.
A dual Rewalt forward line. That'd be
formidable.
Something to see. It might happen actually in the international rules game. I think
Jack got in there.
I think Jack's got in there.
It'd be Jack, Deledio and Rewalt.
It's going to be hard to get interested in that game over in fucking Ireland.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's been played at.
Not interested, full stop, to be honest.
Anyway, we thought we'd go through all the trades and the free agencies and pick a winner out of what's happened with them. So
a winner that isn't Dangerfield.
Well, the first trade was Dangerfield and Steak Knives have gone to Geelong.
Yep.
So the funny thing about this was everyone knew that the Dangerfield thing was going to happen. It's the biggest fish in this trade period, and it was done out of the gate.
Yep.
So obviously they've done all the negotiation, and they've just gone, look, mate, it's going to fucking happen. Let's just do it.
Exactly.
So let's see. Adelaide will get Dean Gore and the first round pick for Geelong, which is number 9. So that's a decent old pick.
It's not bad. I've never heard of Dean Gore. Bring up his profile. Go on the retirement listings.
He is for Geelong, Dean Gore. I think he's just played 1 or 2 years in the VFL.
Yep.
But it's interesting that he's gone to Adelaide. So he is the what do you call it? The steak knives of the deal, which is what Cripps was last year in the Beams deal to get to Collingwood.
Yep.
And apparently he didn't like that, Cripps. But he kicked on. He was best 22 for Collingwood this year. So
to be honest, I think all the value picks will be from the VFL players for teams that are pretty stacked and are deep in one aspect. Like you can look at Hawks, who can have a pretty deep midfield when it comes to it. But the thing is, they can fill them in with small forwards and rotating people off the bench. But they're going to have a substitution limit next year, aren't they?
Yeah, no sub-vest.
Yeah.
And I think it goes from 120 down to 80, which is a savage cut.
And I think that'll change the makeup of some teams and how they approach games. Because when you look at it, they're going for, obviously, not just your 23 weeks or whatever we play now. You're looking for finals and obviously get the cup. And that's how you'll plan out a season from the start. So I think that'll change the makeup of a lot of teams.
Not just change. I think it'll, not only change the makeup, but also selection policy.
Yeah.
In that, especially talking from Hawthorn, we've got a lot of over 30s. Yeah. It's like, mate, all right, 3 weeks on, 1 week off type of deal for a lot of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Those guys at the draft combine who do well in the endurance, it's just the importance of it's just got bumped up that little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So Gore, he's a South Australian, so he gets to go back home.
Yep.
And it was a little bit of an afterthought, I think, to this trade. But, he's got a chance to try and stake his claim.
Yep.
And make it worthwhile. But Geelong obviously get their man.
Yeah.
They get Paddy and another pick who's about number 50.
They gave up. What did they give up? Was it
Gore and pick number 9?
Number 9, yeah.
And pick 28, but who cares?
Yep.
So basically, Paddy Dangerfield for a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't just look at that trade in and of itself because Geelong have been very active at the start of the trade period.
They'll be more active than the rest of the AFL put together.
And so giving up number 9 pick isn't as bad as what it looks like considering the other trades that are taking place, which we'll get into. But
I think Geelong are the clear winners out of this one because Paddy's he's a top 5 AFL player.
And I landed in the lap.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what our cards are, like you know where we are, you know what our bargaining position is, so you take it or you leave it.
Well, it's good that they didn't fuck around.
Yeah.
Like we said, it was the first trade out of the gate because so many other trades would have been hinging on this, especially for Geelong. We can see how active they've been.
Yep.
So they've just gone, look, here it is. We've done all the negotiation. Right, trade's open. Let's go.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
So trade number 2, Jack Redden flying home to the West Coast, and Brisbane Lions get their first round, another first round pick, pick 17. Considering that West Coast really held all the cards on this, I think Brisbane Lions did well to get a pick 17 because he's gone.
Yeah.
They said they didn't want him.
Yeah.
So he's almost they'd already lost him. So the fact they got anything, even though he's a top talent, is taking the piss.
And I mean, the thing is, Brisbane is like rats leaving a sinking ship down there.
Yeah.
Like they're just. But the thing is, they're still getting they're managing to keep their head above water. I think with the trades they're making and sort of draft picks, and I mean, they're not trading much talent, but draft picks. So you're looking at the future. You're not looking at next year being a powerhouse.
Well, they did all right last year because they held. They got Beams up there.
Yeah.
They sort of held their own, but 2013 was the. Yeah, 2013 was their horror year where they basically lost 2 years worth of draft picks.
Yeah, and I think if someone
they've done all right,
and if someone doesn't want to be there, don't try and keep them there.
No.
Move them on. And I think Giros will find out that the hard way with Cam McCarthy going on. But
so I don't know who wins this one. I mean, Jack Redden's he's worth a bit more than a first round pick.
Yeah,
but at the same time, Brisbane getting a first round pick for someone that they've basically wiped.
Yeah,
they've got well from that. So I think that's as close to a win-win as we can get, but I'll tip it to West Coast.
Yeah. Did Redden nominate West Coast? Or he said home?
I think he said home.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'd tip this one to West Coast. I think what I asked that is because I found it surprising that many people who cited going home as an excuse for wanting to trade from the West picked Freo. Yeah. And I would have thought that West Coast would have been maybe the better move to go into than Freo.
You have a look at it. They finished 1 and 2 on the ladder, so you're not that far off either way.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at competing positions. Like, there's too many small forwards that have been flooding into Freo.
Oh, Redham runs out of the midfield, and I guess that there's a very strong midfield at West Coast.
Yeah, so I think that's a better trade for West Coast getting that one than opposed to some of the other homecomers who are going out to West and what they're going to pick up.
Trade number 3, Geelong being active again. So they've given away next year's first-round draft pick for Lockie Henderson. Considering that I expect Geelong to go up the ladder in 2016, so there's probably going to be a pick in the teens. Yep. So let's say 15 to 20, depending on what else happens. 15 to 20 for Lockie Henderson.
Yeah,
I think that Carlton have done it right.
I think Carlton have done very well. I think this is kind of a win-win because I think with when did Dangerfield sort of really nominate that Geelong's where he wants to go? It was more at the start of the season, yeah.
It was the rumours were there, and they were pretty strong rumours.
Yeah, so I reckon that would have changed the way that Geelong approached how they were going to trade for the 2016 season, where I think that they would have had a mentality that was rebuilding and looking at draft picks and making sure you get the young talent in there that can learn off the talent, the experienced talent you've already got. But now I think they're reassessing, we're getting Dangerfield and we've got rid of some cap room and we've got good draft picks coming in. We can probably contend for premierships in 2 to 3 years or something like that, as opposed to 5 to 6 years, which I think would have been a rebuild.
I think even less. I think they've managed their ageing veterans very well, and they've sort of got rid of a couple each year.
Yeah.
Some of them, like Chapman and Hunt, who still wanted to go on.
Yeah.
Still had footy left in them, but they said the time for the club is right now.
Yeah.
I think, getting Dangerfield and Lockie Henderson, they've gone, we're not building for 2017 to 2020.
Yeah.
2016. We're having a real crack right now.
Yeah.
Fuck the next 2 drafts.
Yep.
They're not going to play.
Yeah.
We want it right now.
And so I think that's why this is a win-win for both teams. I think that Carlton have done well for getting whatever they got for
next year
for
first
round 1. And I think in this day and age, the round 1 draft picks are just gold. You think you really need them in order to build a dynasty because you can't so much. You need good young talent in order to trade in for the spots that you need, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lockie Henderson's not going to play in a premiership at Carlton next year.
Yeah,
or in the next 3 years. Carlton know they're not getting off, 18, 17, 16 next year.
Yep.
With the brand new coach as well.
Yep.
So it's no skin off their nose to lose a 26-year-old or 25-year-old, however old he is.
Yeah.
Player who's sitting on the fringe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Of their side.
You wouldn't see him improving at Carlton next year, but you could see him doing something at another team like Geelong. Now, one of the other big trades that was flagged well in advance. Harley Bennell, who went speed dating down in Richmond. Yeah. Took Dusty Martin out for dinner. It was. The thing he went down there, he met up with Dan Richardson and Dusty Martin and someone else. Can't remember who it was. Probably Cochin, actually.
Right.
And Dan Richardson came out and said that the reason they withdrew their interest for Bennell was that he didn't show as much respect as they would have anticipated a player in his position when he was touring the club rooms and talking to the team and that. That being said, Bennell didn't want to go to Richmond at all.
No,
so
I think his mind was already made up.
Exactly.
So, in a way, it's kind of like, look, from his point of view, I'm already going home.
Yep.
But you've asked me, I'll come down.
Exactly.
And fuck it. Dinner reservations aren't cheap.
Plus, it's more your manager going, look, you're going to have more money if you go court other teams and then go back to Freo. Then just going, look, that's where I'm going. Don't want to talk to anyone else.
His heart wasn't in it.
Yeah.
So,
and he was out at 4 a.m. that morning, I think. So it kind of comes clear about that.
So obviously the big thing comes when he goes to Freo is the Freo system versus his outside influences. But I think it's almost that there's so much focus on his outside influences that might actually help him.
Yeah.
You guarantee if he's out buying a kebab at 1 a.m., there's going to be photos everywhere of it.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how innocent.
And especially down the west, I mean, they're more hardcore than Melbourne media in regards to AFL. So
he's coming from Gold Coast, who nobody would have had a clue who he was.
Yeah, I mean, they still probably get Garrett mixed up with. I don't know any rugby players with bald heads. I was going to say Malcheski. I was like, hey, fuck, doesn't work.
They're probably, I don't know, for a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Yeah, exactly. We'll let one go through.
So they got Harley Bennell, and they had to give up their first round draft pick, which is pick 16, and some later round draft picks.
Yeah, and 22, I think they ended up giving up.
No, they got 20. Freo got 22.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Gave up 16 and 35.
Yep.
That's a steal for Freo. But obviously, the only risk is can he keep his nose clean?
Yeah.
Literally.
And the other thing is, like I said, I think Freo have got too many of those small forwards coming in at this time.
But Harley Bennell's a talent.
Yeah.
When he is on, he is so damn good.
I don't think Harley Bennell will be the problem. I think it's the other ones that have come home, and they got Jetta coming there as well, competing positions.
No, he's West Coast.
West Coast, was he? Oh, there you go.
But look, Harley Bennell adds a lot of firepower to Freo. It's a great pickup for any club.
Yeah.
It's just, as long as he keeps himself clean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It'll be fine. The next trade number 5, which is an absolute rarity, is a straight swap, player for player. No picks involved.
Yeah.
It's a classic. You don't see it anymore.
And when you look at both teams, you just like, they was like, yeah, all right, fuck it, whatever. We're not interested in going into the business of draft picks and what's worth what.
Well, now this is one where you're right, because Sydney needed a ruckman. They got a ruckman. West Coast needed a halfback flanker, apparently.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't think they did.
Neither did I. I thought Maston was covering the whole half-back line very well.
I thought, they got McGovern, they got McKenzie, they got Brown to come back. They're not bad across half-back. Yeah. But Lewis Jetta, so maybe he plays off a wing. I don't know. But Gaff was All-Australian on the wing, I think. So it was just a case of, he wants to come home, I guess we'll take him.
Yep. And gave up Callum Sinclair, is that correct?
Sinclair's the ruckman, yeah. Sinclair's a funny one because, for me, he was worst on ground in the grand final. Yeah. Played a brilliant game in the quarterfinal when the West Coast beat Hawks. Yeah. Clearly the number 2 ruckman, though. Yep. Whereas he's going off to Sydney now, he'll be the number 1 ruckman because they've got nobody else.
Exactly. Yeah, Mike Pike's retired. So.
Yeah, which is good. How Canadian of him. He actually said, I think, at their best and fairest dinner, I'm going to retire even though I've got a year on my contract. Oh, hang on. I'll find out if you get another ruckman. So he waited until the Swans got another ruckman and went, okay, now I'm retired.
Oh, there you
go. Just to make sure. So I thought that was pretty good of him, but typical Canadian.
Yeah.
And Jetta had a great 2012 when they won the premiership.
Yep.
Burning with pace, and then he's had a couple of injuries and has looked disinterested at times.
Yeah, and I think at West Coast over at home could go one or two ways. Be less interested with other things, or he might not be such a focus and might play some of his best footy there.
Maybe. It'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I hope he does well because he can be really exciting. And I think West Coast is somewhere where he could flourish, where he's not a focus and can be on the end of plays as opposed to
trying to drive.
Yeah, trying to drive him.
I think it might be one of those players that just he got comfortable at the Swans. He's been there long enough. Now he's got to prove himself again. Yeah, it might just reignite his career.
I'd like to see like a cracker or someone who goes back there and really sort of finds their own.
Yeah,
I mean obviously he's in the waffle, but
trade number 6, Jake Melksham off to Melbourne. And Essendon get another draft pick 25. It's probably fair value, I think. I'm going to give the advantage of that one. Oh, sorry, we didn't say who got the advantage out of this one. I think Sydney, just because they needed a ruckman more than West Coast needed Lewis Jetta.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Even though Lewis Jetta could help West Coast to a flag.
Yeah, like Jetta's a better player, but for the way the team's set up, they need the field holes better.
Needs were more at Sydney. Sorry, back to trade number 6, Melksham and Essendon. I think Essendon got pick 25 for a player who's on their fringe, even though he's shown some improvement this year. Yeah, I thought he was almost on the AFL scrap heap last year. He played a couple of good games this year, and then injuries got him.
Yeah,
but I'm going to say Essendon did all right out of that because they've lost a few draft picks through the whole scandal.
Yeah,
so it's time for them to build up. And let's face it, Melksham might be best 22, but he's not best 10.
Yeah. And look, the second round, you're very high pick in the second round, and the second round is where you start to get your values. To be honest, you'll find a lot of disappointment in the top 10 of first round draft picks, generally. It's always, who's the best scout, more or less.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good position for Essendon to get. And to be honest, Melksham definitely bolsters a bit of, their core, but I don't see why.
It's just another one of their picks that they picked. An average player from another side?
Yeah. I think 25, they could have got someone a lot better out of this trade.
It's definitely a win to For starters, they get another draft pick. 25 is not high. It's second round, but it's a person who another person into the club who wasn't there during the dark days.
Exactly. Yeah, there's another chance.
It's just, I mean, they've taken Chris Dawes, they've taken Herdia, Lumumba. Over the years, there's been others like they've picked up Byron Pickett,
Garlett, was it? No,
Jeffrey Garlett.
Was Garlett? Yeah, coming from Carlton.
He's done all right.
Yeah.
But there's just all those
didn't need him.
mid-range players from other clubs that have gone on to be mid-range players at Melbourne.
Yeah, yep.
Why?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really get it.
Yeah, it's like you're making a very concerted effort for banality for a season.
It's just, it's almost like they're trying to find that diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And they're buying scratch-off tickets.
Yeah, the thing is, you're better off just going with someone who you have no idea about or someone who you're like, they could be a star, which is like going in the draft or going with recycled players.
I don't know. It's just funny. Trade number 7. This one broke my heart. Hawks get first-round draft pick number 15 and number 55. Outgoing Jed Anderson and pick 38 and pick 40.
Yep.
Jed Anderson's I think this is a win for North.
Yep.
Because Jed Anderson, at the right age, he's shown, he's got some talent.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't go duck hunting in the off-season, he'll be right.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be tough for Hawthorn to hold on to him always because, 1, you can't fit him in. 2, he's going to be worth a salary increase, and maybe you can't fit that in as well. And so it might just be the best option to offload him.
You can't blame him. I mean, I think he's been at Hawthorn for 3 or 4 years, and they got him through GWS. But I think he's 22, and I think he's got 2 kids. It's very hard to cement your future when you're playing VFL.
Yeah.
And even though Hawks have had a couple of retirements and
not in his positions,
Suckling going out, a fullback, a ruckman, and a halfback flanker.
Yeah, not playing any of them.
When you're a mid forward,
and,
Mitchell, Lewis, and Bruce, and Piopolo, it's very hard to. He's looking at another year, at least half a year, in the resis.
And the thing is, when he did play, he actually showed good talent. I remember one game where he stood out on his debut or something, where he really stood out and played
nice goals.
Kicked some nice goals. Back then, he had 2 kids at 22.
Yeah,
he really tried to fit into Western Sydney. Didn't he?
It was one of those ones where the Western Sydney got draft bonuses, or no, they had the rights to 17-year-olds.
Oh, okay.
And Hawthorn had to trade to get the rights.
So try to get Jed Anderson to have some kids, and they'll get those.
But he's going to thrive. Just with a little more opportunity. It's going to be a one that Hawthorn had no choice in it. It just couldn't fit him.
Yeah.
So it was somebody else's gain.
Yeah.
Now this one I reckon is an absolute steal for Adelaide. Adelaide get Curtly Hampton from GWS for next year's second-round draft pick. So that's probably going to be between 25 and 30 or thereabouts.
Yeah. Could even, probably 30 would be maximum.
Something around there.
I think 25 would be probably written off, but I think, I think GWS do pretty well.
Whatever Adelaide's second-round pick, it could even be 35.
Yeah.
I like Curtly Hampton as a player running off half-back. He's got the right size. He's got a bit of pace for his height as well. Could do with a bit of work on his disposal, but that comes in time.
I mean, you're a backman, so that's always the last thing you work on.
Exactly.
But I think he fills in the gaps that the Crows need. Obviously, you've got Tex up forward. You've got a midfield that's got Sloan in them in it. Yeah. You need sort of that enforcer in the back line to play like a Jakovic role.
I mean, they've got Talia, who's been on All-Australian and Fringe All-Australian a couple of years, and Rory Laird. I think Smith is All-Australian back pocket as well. Yep. So they're building
Crouch
up.
There as always, a little run-around fella.
Spent a bit of time injured this year, I think, as well. So it's another, that mid to tall backman.
Yep.
If he can get a bit of run as his body develops, I think it's a great pickup for next year's second-round draft pick.
Yeah, exactly. Adelaide, you look at them to improve next year. I don't think they'll improve as a team over the main season. Yeah. As far as how deep they go, I think they'll probably go the same.
Well, I mean, losing Dangerfield is big, but I mean they're young enough that the overall improvement can be worth a Dangerfield, if that makes sense.
And also it gives you the chance to see the effect that Dangerfield had on the rest of the team that was coming through, especially young midfielders, the rest of the team, and seeing how they can learn from what he sort of laid down, more or less.
I think they'll enjoy also just, one, a year without the tragedy, and 2, without the constant all-year talk of is Dangerfield going to go. Yep. And obviously he knew He said he didn't make the decision until 2 weeks after the season, but in his heart he knew.
And look, I think Phil Walsh passing away is probably one that threw a spanner in the works. Going, fuck, well,
what else do you do?
We've got to stick together now. Things are more important than footy, and can't really put it out then. But
trade number 9, the Tigers finally do something.
Yeah, well, we haven't been active in trade week too much in the last couple of years, and to our benefit, really, because trade week isn't our strong point, ever.
You picked up a free agent last year, Hunt, and he was all right.
He did all right. He started off well, finished off terrible.
Yeah. So they get Jacob Townsend, who I couldn't pick out of a lineup.
Yeah, got no idea. I'd heard about him only because doing the research, when GWS first came into research for Supercoach and shit, you come across these players and you're like, maybe he's good, but never really got a chance. Look, they gave up, what was it, the 4th round or 5th round?
7th round.
7th round. Look, Tigers don't recruit into the 4th round, let alone 5th, 6th, 7th round.
Pick 120 they gave. They got with Jacob Townsend. Sorry.
So they got that.
They gave around their 4th. So they gave up pick 70.
Yeah.
So basically, Jacob Townsend is worth 50 draft picks.
Let's be honest, Richmond were never going to select anyone with that draft pick, regardless, especially on this draft.
They're still not going to pick anyone with that pick 120.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty much, you've given us him, and that's all well and good. We'll just call it even.
Nobody's fighting over custody in this battle. Now this one did surprise me a little bit. Trade number 10 was Tom Bell heading up to the Brisbane Lions, along with pick 41, who goes down to... and Carlton get pick 21 and pick 60.
Yep.
I think this is a steal for Brisbane. They couldn't wait for this offer to be put in front of them.
I think anyone going to Brisbane is a steal for Brisbane.
Yeah,
shit. Fucking quick, sign him on the line. Get him up here.
Especially, how rare is it the go-home factors to Queensland?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it happened last year with Beams, but that's beside the fucking point.
Yeah, well, what happened to him? Yeah, fucking point in case.
Well, got him
playing this fucking year.
He got their best and fairest, along with half the other side.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking Clay Beams is fucked now, isn't he? Yeah, that's right. My bad.
So Tom Bell wanted to go up for family, and he's a best 22 player for Carlton.
Yeah.
Probably even higher up. And
definitely this year.
And to give away a best 22 for pick 21. That's a steal.
Yeah, I agree. I think, look, when you add it to that midfield of Brisbane, they've got the core. Now to start adding the meat to the bones.
They still need their key position players.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe he can pinch hit down forward.
And look, if you get him for, what I think is a pretty good deal.
I think it's a great deal. Brisbane,
if he improves, gives you lots more sort of bargaining power next trade period.
Yep, absolutely. It's been at least 7 picks since we've talked about Geelong. Or 7 trades, rather.
Oh, shit.
So let's go back into trade 11. Now, this is one of the complicated trades. So,
and 7 picks is, I think, in the realm of trade hours, 5 hours or something like that?
Well, it depends on what day it is. If it's during the first week, 7 picks is 4 days.
Yeah.
If it's during the last hour, it's 15 minutes.
Yep.
The first part of this trade, North Melbourne get 3rd round draft selection, which is pick 53.
Yep.
Geelong get Zach Smith.
Yep.
So Zach Smith was a pick number 2, I think, when he went to Gold Coast.
Yeah, huge raps. Huge raps. Had a good season too. Had a good season.
In their debut year, he was one of their shining lights.
Yeah.
And fell away very quickly after that.
Well, the thing is, in your debut season for an entire team, how do you defend against that when you're setting up your strategy? How do you go, all right, you look out for this cunt?
Yeah.
You got no idea. And so then obviously I think the second season, all right, well, just, make sure he doesn't do anything in the air and around the ground. He's fucking useless. So
I thought he showed a lot. But it is funny now, Gold Coast in their debut year, their 2 twin towers were Zach Smith and Charlie Dixon.
Yeah.
And they've lost one, and they're likely to lose the other in this trade period.
It's almost certainty, yeah.
They're just about, there's not many originals there anymore. Yeah. There's obviously Gary and Swallow, but besides them. So part 2 of this trade, Geelong gets a round 3 selection. Gold Coast get Daniel Curry.
Yep.
It surprised me that Daniel Curry was 26.
Is he really?
Because he's sort of been on the cusp at North for a long time.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And North is a team that had a lot of ruckmen because that was part of the problem is, one, Goldstein rucks for 99% of the game.
Yeah.
So the role of a second ruckman, you better be able to do something else.
Exactly.
Because otherwise you're no use.
Yeah.
So then they had Majak Dor,
who
was a marketing experiment.
Yeah.
Which is what it looked like.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't come on in the skill department as yet.
Yeah, he's come on some other things.
Benny Brown, who shocked them.
Yeah, who was like, you wouldn't expect him to be who you thought Magic Door was going to be, more or less.
Exactly. He had a shocking final against West Coast in the prelim, but he was brilliant last September. So if he gets a little bit of consistency between the two, he's laughing. So Curry's been sitting there. He's been the next best thing for too long, so he decided, fuck it, I'm off.
And fair enough. I mean,
can't blame him.
6-man awards are well and good, but you want championships, don't you?
Or you want game time.
Yeah.
I think he's only played like 5 games or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And when you're 26, again, it's very hard to shore up your future playing VFL.
Yeah. I mean, it must be hard to get up every morning for training and shit, knowing that you're going to be there or thereabouts. Yeah.
So now he's going to rip up the NEFL. And the final part of this 3-way trade is Brisbane Lions get Josh Walker.
Yep.
Is this part of the same trade?
No,
this is a new one. Sorry, I fucked that up.
Yeah.
Never mind.
The last part was Geelong getting the
round 3 selection next year, which is, who cares?
Yeah.
Round 3 next year.
Yeah.
So picking the 40s or 50s.
Yeah. It's like a lottery ticket for next year's lotto, more or less.
Which, now this one is one of the... hang on. Who do we think did best out of that 3? I'm going to say Geelong again, because I don't think they gave up all that much. And Zach Smith could be good. If he gets his body sorted and his head, he could be good.
Yeah. Look, I think it was more just shifting around players to suit positions, more or less. Yeah, I'd say Geelong probably got the bit out of it, but there wasn't so much loser. It was mainly a trade of convenience, if that makes sense.
So trade 13 is Geelong get a round 5 selection next year, and Brisbane get Josh Walker and Jared Jansen.
Yeah.
Doesn't say much for your value, does it really?
No.
You got two players for a round 5 next year, which could be in the 80s.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't think Geelong is going to take that pick. They're going to look to offload that in some of the trade period next year.
Yeah, they're probably, exactly. Or they're just going to pass.
Yeah.
So Josh Walker was a good player in the VFL. Jared Jansen, I couldn't tell you what he looked like.
It's more or less, you've got traded for cap room, more or less.
You got traded because we couldn't be bothered drawing up the next contract.
It's like someone paying 30 cents on the dollar for your debt.
3 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
So I guess Brisbane won that because that means they've got more players.
Yeah.
And that's all they need.
That's what they need, yeah.
They're running out of... they've got all these Guernseys there. It's like, somebody? Anyone?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They don't sell too well with blank Guernseys.
Okay, trade number 14. That came through loud.
It did.
So we finally answered the question to where's Stevie Johnson going to coach in a couple of years' time.
Yep.
So Stevie J goes to GWS. And Essendon, how is that?
I think...
Have we fucked it up here?
No. Stevie J goes to GWS, going to coach after 2016. Geelong got the future 2016 5th round pick from GWS. I think that's the lowest trade possible, isn't it?
Pretty close to it.
The last pick, whatever.
I mean, there was a round 7 pick that Richmond got.
Yeah, this is true. That was completely news to me. I thought 5th, and that was about it. But then again, I go for Richmond, so we never really select anyone after the 4th.
So here's where I stuffed it up, because that pick was there. So Geelong get 2016 round 5 selection for Stevie J.
Yep.
Right. Now I'm reading it right.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, because they gave 2 future picks, 2 in a row.
Yep. That's why I stuffed up. Geelong, they're just playing in too many fucking trades. It's hard to keep up.
This is their ruse, I think. Just confuse everybody, and all of a sudden, premierships.
Well, it worked on me.
Yeah.
But anyway, obviously, GWS get away. I think that's a great deal.
Yeah.
And Geelong getting anything for somebody that they've essentially told, you're not playing here next year.
Exactly.
Well, what do they care?
And look, great fit for GWS, especially when you're looking at Cam McCarthy trying to go home. Yeah. Makes a good case for, you're not worth as much as you were like a week ago because we've got Stevie J now, so we don't really need you as much.
I think they should get the deal done for him as well.
Yeah, and I know his manager's come out and said that he'd really love for all parties to meet Cam's parents and get to lay the land and understand that it's not a business, it's personal matters.
This is the way it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And look, I think that's fair enough, given that clubs will always try and flog off the team loyalty aspect, but it's only one way. It's not it's a business from the team perspective, and it's loyalty from the player's perspective.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they say there's no sentiment in football, and clubs can show it when it comes to contract time.
Yeah, exactly.
End of the year, and you say Stevie J, $260 70 games, I don't know, fuck knows how many goals, 3 premierships, Norman Smith medal, and they go, mate, we just don't see you in our plans.
And look, Ryan Crowley.
Yeah.
Point in case. Just got the red letter day, completely blindsided by it. Had a year out due to suspension taking something, where it was. Painkillers, yeah. And then they've come back and said, you're just not in our plans.
I always wonder with that because if that was the first indication he ever got that he wasn't getting a contract, that's pretty fucking rough.
Yeah.
Having said that, surely during the year they said, mate, we don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
You're 32, you've had a year out, we don't know.
And he explicitly came out and said that wasn't the case.
He did.
Yeah.
But I wonder.
Exactly. and I mean, I've actually met Crowley once or twice, and he was a fucking hilarious bloke. Like,
everyone says he's the nicest guy.
Fucking hilarious. Probably not the most switched on.
Really?
But fucking hilarious and good value, yeah.
So we're up to trade number 15. West Coast get Jonathan Giles, who's at his 4th club.
Yeah, trying to stay fit.
Essendon get a round 3 draft pick, which is 57. So it was it's funny because he only spent 1 year at Essendon and they played him 2 games.
Yep.
So I don't know what was going on. They must have not liked what they saw on the track or what they saw in the VFL. But when you've lost Paddy Ryder, who's their starting ruckman. You've pulled in a decent ruckman from GWS.
Yeah, good
and
raps
just not played
playing at GWS. Good raps. And
so he must have been shithouse on the track.
Well, especially with McKernan not doing too well for a long time with the Bombers, and they still didn't give him a go. So.
Yeah, but I mean, McKernan tried his heart out, but he was never going to win his position.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 5'4".
And there was probably uproar about trying to get Giles in there and give him a crack and just see how he goes because
he must have been crap.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't think you do him any more value by leaving him on the sidelines. I mean, he's not fucking Wally Burke, is he?
Yeah, well, he only threw him in for like a couple of games, but new coach in there obviously as well. So he said his say and went, no, fuck off. And West Coast get a replacement for Sinclair that they lost, but I mean they got Nick Nat and Lysette, so they're only getting him for depth.
Yeah, and I mean, it might turn out that that's the best opportunity he gets, and he might be able to break his way into that top 2. I mean, because Nick Nat, he's always going to be the versatile ruckman where you don't want him doing all the ruck work. You want him around the ground and doing...
Well, he's a unique ruckman. Nobody can move like Nick Nat does.
Exactly. So I think you look at him trying to challenge him to take that second spot.
What else is interesting, like we said with Giles, this is his 4th club. He never had 2 clubs in the one state.
Yeah.
So he started at Port Adelaide, didn't play a game. Up to GWS, a couple of years, played a few games. Melbourne, playing for Essendon. Now he's over in WA.
Quite the wanderer.
So, I'm going to say, if Brisbane or Gold Coast are looking for somebody, I'm saying...
Yeah, get him in there.
If, travelling interstate could use a passport...
And my OCD says you fucking have to do it.
You'd have to. Even as a 32-year-old, just to play NEFL for Gold Coast.
Yep. I mean, he's pretty tall fucker. I'd like to see him down playing soccer or something, headbutting goals from the...
Why not?
Corner kicks or something like that.
You go play for the Brisbane Roar, you reckon?
Well, I figure you got the NEFL, but you've probably got pretty strong Brisbane Roar and...
he doesn't look unlike Freddie Flintoff. You get a game for the Brisbane Heat.
Yeah, true, actually. But I think he's a bit too skinny and a bit of a beanpole to be able to withstand cricket. So.
What, you'd be thicker than Flintoff in more ways than one?
Oh, shit. Yeah, actually, yeah, probably right.
Anyway, I don't know who wins out of that. I guess it's a wash. No, Essendon win.
Essendon win, yeah. Cause
they get another player.
And Essendon are all about getting rid of what they got and just getting something new.
Yeah.
So that's their MO. So if that happens, then they've won.
And West Coast are just depth. That's all they've got. In a position in a position that they've got sorted.
It seems like West Coast have had no intention to do anything, and then someone's gone, oh, what about this? And they've gone, oh
shit, okay.
All right, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Right.
We didn't do nothing last year. We may as well make up for it. Trade number 16. Fuck me. Adelaide get Paul Seedsman, and Collingwood get pick 32. I'm going to say that's a good pick up for Adelaide.
Yeah, I actually don't mind Seedsman. I thought he
young too,
played well when he did play. And like we've been battering on, I think it's horses for courses. Too many people to compete against in Collingwood for that position.
Yeah.
Adelaide, I think he'll fit in and give a bit of strength to the midfield that they need. Bit of a, as long as he can bulk up a little bit and throw his weight around.
Like you said, he's young, so he's going to develop.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's going in the right direction.
Yep.
So it'd be very interesting, I think.
And learning a lot from the experience at Collingwood as well will, I think, transfer across to the Adelaide, wherever you ends up playing.
Yeah.
Midfield or wings or whatever.
And pick 32 for Adelaide. It's it's not a bad pick,
Yep.
but that's obviously going to be an 18-year-old as opposed to Seadsman, who's 20, 21.
Yeah.
Closer to the age group of the rest of their core players.
Yep.
So he's going to be, coming into his peak closer to where Adelaide needs him, as opposed to whoever picked 30, whatever it was, ends up. And the last trade that went through today, trade 17, is the fucking monster.
Monster trade, yeah.
All right, let's start from the top. Melbourne get Ben Kennedy.
From Collingwood, yep.
From Collingwood. They also get pick 29 and pick 50. Ben Kennedy's a good player. I think this is a better trade that Melbourne have made, because at least there's some upside.
Yep.
With some of the other ones we mentioned earlier, they've like Melksham and Lumumba and Dawes.
Yeah.
Guys that have you've already seen their best.
Yep.
At least Kennedy's got room to grow.
Yep. Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think with giving up How's, don't get me wrong, top quality player, but where Melbourne going, they're not going to win premierships. And so I think it's a good strategy to build up a player like Howe into where he is, and offload him for younger talent in order to invest in the next 2 or 3 years.
And the fact that he didn't want to be there.
That'll help. So.
And lost Jimmy Toumpas, who I liked him in his first year, but he did fall away a little bit this year.
Yep. Yeah, I think I found out a little bit.
Yeah. So Collingwood get Jeremy Howe, like we said.
Yep.
And pick 68.
Yep.
I think I really like Jeremy Howe as a player. Obviously, he's got the high screaming marks, but there's been a few times where he'd be floating across halfback, and the other team would have to go, well, shit, I can't kick it there.
Yeah.
Because if I kick it high, nobody else can touch it.
Yep.
So maybe with the not the leftovers of the tanking days and that kind of it sounds harsh to say, but that losing mentality.
Yep.
At Collingwood, who will be driving, they need to play finals this year.
Yep.
He's got a good chance he's going to play finals at Collingwood.
Yeah, I agree, and especially the way Collingwood are going, you can see him going there and being a major contributor with what they're doing, because with someone like that, you can open up a very free-flowing style of game, which, as we've seen, is sort of the way you have to be able to beat teams like Hawthorn, who have got the maturity across half-back and can really set up from there.
The other thing is, if they play Howe up forward, it's almost a get-out-of-jail card for them. Like, if they get in trouble, kick up
Travis Cloak.
Or Cloak, They've had that with Jamie Elliott a little bit. It's just like, oh, fuck, just kick it up there, let's see what he can do. Now they've got another one. So you know that Elliott might even play up the ground more.
And the thing is, Elliott's only small, but obviously he can jump. But if you got Howe and you got Elliott front and centre, fuck. That's formidable in a half-forward line.
Absolutely. And especially if, Travis Cloak might find himself a new... Well, he's got now options, because they can play him as centre-half back, which I still say they should do, because he can't fucking kick straight.
Centre forward or centre-half back. Have him running towards goal, not away from goal.
Or he can play out of the goal square as a jumping bag for Jeremy Howe. He can just stand there. That's his job, as a launch pad. Why fucking not? Can't kick.
It's like, you remember that uproar about netball where that chick bent over and act as a stool for the chick to defend. Yeah, I like that idea, actually.
Why not? And the last end of this...
a spare man in attack.
A spare man in attack, And the last part of this mega trade was Port Adelaide, who get Jimmy Toumpas and pick 32. And they had to give up pick 29 and pick 50 and pick 68. So they get Toumpas and pick 32. Not bad. It's a little bit of steak knives again for Port. If Toumpas comes good, then great. If not, then they're not paying big bucks.
I think Port were the sort of little marginal link that needed to be added to complete the trade.
To get it over.
Yeah, and they needed someone like Port Adelaide to be like, we can see how that might work for us. But I think, pretty decent for Collingwood and Melbourne as well. I think Collingwood, they might struggle from having too many players wanting to go to their clubs and feeling obliged to accept them, if that makes sense, because they're good players. But are they going to be a premiership in 2 years? Could be. Well, young talent.
They need to improve this year.
Yeah.
Like, I actually think they have improved the last 2 years, but the ladder position says they haven't.
Yeah.
Even though that's not the be-all and end-all, you've got to look beyond that.
Yeah.
And look at it subjectively. Objectively still matters.
Yeah.
And Buckley's been at the helm for 5 years, and they've gone down the ladder 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
And I think, especially with lots of younger players, they had so many injuries over probably the last 18 months, is that I don't think you've had enough time to put those players on the field to understand what holes you need to fill in because you don't know what
does the system work.
Yeah, and because you get players in there supposed to be this X position, but really you might see that they fit in better as a Y position. Might be a forward line, and really they fit much better as a backline player. But you don't have sort of the track record or the data from having them playing to be able to analyse that and see where they fit in. So,
like when Chris Tarrant went over to Freo, I mean, he was all-Australian centre-half forward or forward flank, became an all-Australian centre-half back.
Exactly. That's a prime example of something like that. And I think Collingwood just haven't had enough time for a team to gel on the track, like in game day, if that makes sense.
There's no real losers out of that one. I mean, I think Melbourne are, because Howe is a better player than Kennedy right now. Yeah. But he didn't want to be there, so they're better off without him.
And that being said, this is Monday night we're recording this, so there's going to be a lot of changes.
Well, the next 3 days are the biggest 3 days of trade period.
Yeah. We actually talked about this before we started. We're like, should we wait till Thursday? And we were like, actually...
we record Mondays.
Yeah, we record Mondays. And if you're online and ask for facts, then probably going to come a bit short.
You got problems.
Yeah.
So they're the trades so far up to Monday night. There's obviously more rumoured. We'll go through the rumoured trades in a minute, but the other big period is the free agency, obviously, which we touched on at the start. So let's go through the free agency signings so far.
Yeah.
Matty Suckling wins 2 premierships in a row at Hawthorn and goes off to the Bulldogs.
Yep.
Can't blame him.
Yep, not at all.
Look, taken a little bit of a bump in pay.
Yeah, exactly. And I think players like that, to be honest, I think they might get a little bit bored around an environment where you're not the major contributor and you're winning premierships, but you don't feel like you got more to offer, if that makes sense. And you can go to a place like Western Bulldogs where they're going up, and you can see you can be an integral part of that team, and I think you'll get a bit more reward from those premierships from what he's done with Hawks. I guess you can argue that he's the 22nd best player at Hawthorn because he was the sub during the grand final. So now he probably goes up and maybe he's the 12th best player. And becomes integral. From a Hawthorn supporter's point of view, there's been a few times where, especially the first half of this year, Suckling's kicking was shithouse. And along with his decision making, and he's so soft. His second half of the year was pretty good. He kicked some clutch goals. So it's one of those guys where, mate, you've done well by us. Yeah, exactly.
You played in 2 premierships. You've done your role. Somebody's offering you a little bump in pay.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
And the thing is, if you weren't getting Carlisle, you'd be like, well, you motherfucker left us afterwards. But then we're getting Carlisle like, well, yeah, fair enough, bloke. You know what you got to do.
It's almost the same opinion I have of the Carlisle one. If it happens, good. If not, not worried.
And I think that's the opinion that Hawks supporters should have, because you're sitting pretty regardless. I think your advantages aren't with these players that come in. Your advantages are with the players you've already got. And so I think anything extra you get in is going to be a bonus.
That's the way it goes, yeah.
But it's up to the other people to be able to build the experience in order to beat a team like that.
So the next, because we can't talk this long without mentioning Geelong again. So they've signed Scotty Sellwood as a free agent. And I think that West Coast could not care less.
Yeah, no.
Because, I mean, former best and fairest and a vice captain, but not in their best 22.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in this contract, Selwood has to actually pick up the balls after training and run out the water. So.
Well, he can't run out the water because the first thing he's done as a Geelong player is gone and got surgery. Ankle surgery again. Obviously, Geelong would have known that.
Obviously, hates a preseason. Hates the 4K trial.
Why not? It was also funny that West Coast came out and said that they were disgusted in the compensation they got, which is
that they signed for and
agreed to. that they would have known about before they signed it. But Scott Sellwood was a restricted free agent, so they could have matched it. Obviously, that's not in their best interest. But you don't need to come out and talk.
And the thing is, if you're going to say something, make it smart and poignant and intelligent. Don't say something that's that fucking retarded that everyone can see through it. You know what I mean? Like, I understand a company line, but be realistic. Like, in this situation, be like, all right, well, let's be honest, he wasn't going to do much at West Coast, and we got not much for him. Fair enough.
He's not in our best 22, and we got pick 37, so we got a second-round draft pick. That'll do.
Yeah, say the politics and just call a spade a spade.
Yeah, just what it is. And the Hawks got pick 39 for Matty Suckling, but at the same time, they're like, he was going to go.
Exactly.
Actually, on that, it's been the last couple of years, and I'm going to say that Geelong really started this off with Chappie when he left, where they've delisted somebody and still given them time at the best and fairest. Come and say, mate, you've been a champion for us. Come talk to your crowd. Because I remember when Daisy Thomas left Collingwood, and it might have been Heath Scotland or somebody else as well.
Yeah.
Didn't go to the best and fairest dinner.
Yeah.
And Ryan Crowley didn't go to Freo, and he said he regretted it this year. But Chappie got his time to talk at the Geelong Best and Fairest. Same with Johnson. And Matty Suckling had his chance at the Hawthorn Best and Fairest as well. I like that because at the end of the day, it's business is business.
Yeah.
You know, and they've still got mates there. They've got flags. They're going to come back for reunions.
And look, at the end of the day, I look at it as that this is a chance for your team to be amongst their teammates and their friends and family and whatever. It's their night. It's not your club's night. It's your players' night.
Yes.
So I think he's obviously part of that team, and obviously there's the fans' perspective of trade or whatever, but these guys, they sweat every day with the same people, and they don't look at it from that perspective. They look at it, this guy's sweat of us, he's made the decision, we understand because we're going to face that decision ourselves at some point. And so I think that's a very mature move for any club to do, and I think that not allowing players to come in and give their last sort of speech or present themselves at their best and fairest is just being a bit of a wanker.
And it's not like they're going to get up there and go, fuck yous all.
Exactly,
Like, burn their bridges and that kind of shit. But
and if they did, they'd probably get fucking bashed up. So.
And these days, you never know. The way players are moving, they might come back.
Yeah, that's exactly right,
It's happened a few times.
And I think it's only going to really sort of reinvigorate the sort of shrewd business side of players with this free agency, because you realise the power has shifted a little bit back in your favour.
The third player signed through free agency is Matthew Leuenberger, who again was a restricted free agent that Brisbane decided not to match. So they got picked 39 for him. But Essendon get a ruckman, which is what they needed. They got rid of Giles. I think the only real loser out of this is McKernan. Or maybe he's a winner. Maybe he gets to play a proper position.
Yeah, maybe he gets to play, centre forward or something like that.
Somewhere where he's meant to play. So Leuenberger, again, it's just, I don't know how Brisbane can complain about getting a second round draft pick for him, because he's, again, we've said it before, he's one of those ones we're always told about how good he's going to be. And I've never seen proof of it. He was one of the unlucky ones not to win a best and fairest at Brisbane this year, because fucking everyone else did.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, if you can't win best and fairest at Brisbane this year, then I can't see how you can argue with that.
Good luck with that.
So, anyway, he'll get lots of game time at Essendon if he keeps his body together. And again, as another new player into Essendon, they need to refresh their list. So,
new coach, new everything, except for a board. So, good luck with that.
With the whole WADA thing too, I reckon they're going to get out of that clean. So that'll be fun.
I think, and WADA, any organisation likes to say they're independent, especially WADA, who's a government organisation, but there's definitely going to have a consideration for what's in the best interest of that sport. And sure, the AFL are going to say, look, obviously you guys are gung-ho about what you're doing and whatever, cool.
Can we just fucking end this?
Yeah, exactly. But in the best interest of everyone, we can see these guys didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They were obviously given bad information. Let them go.
They've been punished.
Yeah. You want to go after Dank and Hurd in your own free time, fucking go for it. Don't give a fuck.
Couldn't care less.
Yep, but just let us go on with our game. And trust me, the fucking peptides they've taken made no fucking difference to the shit they eat.
If they did, the benefit's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just move on.
Move on. And the last one, Dawson Simpson's gone from Geelong up to GWS. Geelong have an absolute bevy of tall players.
Yeah.
And so through injuries and just being pushed out, not a bad move for him. He goes back up to Mummy, who's I think 30, 31 now.
Yeah, about that.
Who sat out the second half of this year with injuries, so you'll get a lot of game time up there.
And you might look at him even playing sort of the centre-half back, centre forward roles, or swapping instead of swapping off the bench, swapping in actual positions. Yeah,
I mean, hopefully they get Patton back this year. Up forward, but again,
it's always tough how he's going to be.
Yeah, what's that, 2 or 3 knee?
Yeah, something like that. What is he?
You're
22 or something like that. Something
you
ridiculous.
Can't be the same.
Especially big man, they don't get good until they're 30.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a good pickup for GWS, and Geelong won't be too bothered by that.
Yep.
So the biggest news or the biggest trade that still hasn't happened is Carlisle. So this one has been. We've heard from people who have spoken to Carlisle, who's overseas. We've heard of people that have spoken to people that have spoken to Carlisle.
Yeah.
We've heard from his manager. We've heard from, what's his name, Adrian Dodoro, who is one of the most outspoken list managers or whatever out of Essendon. When I heard Dodoro come out and say that we're only interested in dealing with Hawthorn, immediately I knew that's it. Carlisle's not going to Hawthorn.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just one of those ones. Like, who's that Iraqi Minister of Information? Just everything he said was bullshit.
Yeah, fucking oath I do. Yes. Yeah. Holy shit.
He's the same.
I remember because of Letterman.
Yeah.
He was on late nights and he's still on the air. And I think, because they were saying that they're 100% certain that it's worth a first round pick or whatever. And it's like, you're trading with Saints and Hawthorn. The Saints' first round pick is worth more than Carlisle. The Hawks' first round pick is probably about less. Fair. Yeah, probably less fair. And so you can see the Saints saying, well, I mean, look at our team. Like, we're on the up and up, and he wants to come here. We're not fucking giving you our first round draft pick. That's been our strength for the last 5 years, is drafting.
St Kilda, the last 2-3 drafts have been hoarding top 20 draft picks. That's all they've been done.
Yeah.
So I think they're at the position there where they like Jake Carlisle, but you know what? We like pick 5 too.
Yeah. Look, if I was the Saints, I'd be holding pick 5. If it means it goes to the Hawks, hey, good luck. But I don't think Jake wants to go to the Hawks because I think he'll be an out-and-out superstar and make more money at another team.
Yeah. And at the same time, I don't know if you go to the Hawks now and think, well, I'm going to play in a premiership.
Yeah.
You might play finals, but at some stage, those 30-year-olds are going to have to drop off.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't stay at the top for that long.
That's it. And let's be honest, none of them are getting traded. They're all going to be dead, like in regards to Hawthorn's financial structure and what they can trade for. This dead weight is going to be just lopped off and cut free.
And the difference for Carlisle going to St Kilda versus going to Hawthorn is going to be at probably close to 200 grand or 250 grand.
And trust me, the rest of the AFL is hoping Carlisle goes to Hawthorn.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I think it's such a young team around Hawthorn. I think he fills in a gap at the Saints.
Okay. Do you mean the rest of the AFL is hoping Carlisle goes to the Saints?
No.
Hawthorn. Okay.
Hawthorn. Because I think he fills in such a big hole that the Saints have. And the thing is, Saints have been improving areas that you don't expect them to improve.
Yeah.
And especially in their resiliency and things like that, how they can approach a game from 4 quarters, which is, I can't think of another young team who are able to do what Saints have done, especially with how they come back from large deficits at half time. One of their main things has been the key position player to sort of subsequent rewaltz actions, because he's getting a bit older, and someone who can be that key focus from centre-half back, centre-half forward, and kick goals. And I think Carlisle fills that hole, and I think it will open up, he'll present a target that has to be covered, and open up the free running players that the Saints have in order to have an attack that's multi-pronged and not just based on revolt.
Well, I think one of the biggest surprises for Saints this year was Bruce. Who's kicked a couple of bags of goals, and I didn't see it coming. But they've been screaming out for a key position backman for years.
Yeah. And
Carlisle's been screaming out to play key position back, so he is the perfect piece for him.
Yeah.
They hold all the cards.
Yeah.
Like I said before with Hawks, I'm like, if we get Carlisle, I mean, great, but he replaces Lake.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Shuey's playing awesome now as that swingman. We've got Spanger to come back in. Gibson's still down there. He won a best and fairest this year.
Yeah.
We got Litherland. We got Heatherly, who won't play a full season in the AFL next year, but the year after that he might.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those ones where I don't care if it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
For Hawthorn, but geez, he fits in well.
And look, I think it will happen for Hawthorn just based on that the Saints won't give up number 5 for him. And, I think he'll be less effective at Hawthorn than he would be at St Kilda.
I agree. He's a bigger fish for St Kilda.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to happen. It's going to get done.
Yeah.
But there'll be a third club involved. I think they were talking about picks going here and a pick going there and fucking picks going everywhere.
Geelong or someone, they got picks coming to their arsehole.
Well, Geelong, it's hard for them to not be involved in the trade that's going on. So it'll get done, and it might get done on Thursday.
But it'll be a Thursday deal. Wait until the dust settles or anything else, and then who's got what picks and.
But I mean, Essendon have every right to try and get the most out of every trade they can.
Oh, they have to.
They're not.
They have to.
They're not doing their reputation as hard to trade with any danger.
Exactly. Yeah. I think they have to at this point. They have to be ruthless because they're already there. Like I said, the reputation's fucked. They're not going to damage that. So be ruthless.
What do they care? What does that reputation matter?
Exactly. Yep. And this is like your one chance for a clean slate. Anything you do now will be forgotten with next year's performance. So get out all the shit and try and get as much as you can get with regards to talent or what you can sort of trade in the future, especially when you're looking at the future picks that are on the table now. They're going to be really important for Essendon.
So any other major... we're still waiting for the Yarran deal
The Aaron deal is still going. I think they want the first round pick for the Tigers, which I think is number 13. No,
something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. It's not going to happen. Tigers won't give up that because they've made a key to recruit first round picks.
Yeah.
For Damien Hardwick's always said that, and I don't think they need Yaron enough to give up a first round pick. Second round pick and maybe, but I don't think we need him. To be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sold on him.
Yeah, me neither.
He can play well, but at times, I mean, can you blame him for looking disinterested at Carlton though?
Not at all.
At times, the whole club looked disinterested.
Yep.
So
if it was Harley Bennell's age, maybe you could work with him a bit, but he's not Harley Bennell's age.
He's only
a bit older.
He's only a couple of years.
Was he 26 or something?
Something like that. Yeah. So I mean, now should be his time.
Yeah.
Is he the missing piece though for Richmond? I'm not convinced because they got a lot of those running halfbacks already. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be breaking me back if I was Richmond to make it.
If I get him for, let's say, 300 grand, take him 350
and for a second rounder.
Yeah, second rounder. Yeah,
and maybe a fringe player that wants to go to Carlton where you'll get more game time.
Fit in. And look, I'd trust Choco's assessment of what he can and can't do with player development, especially. So I think he'd be very key in those meetings with Yaron and that. And you take his word as gospel. So, yeah, look, I don't think we need him, but if you get him for the right price, and if Choco thinks that he can work with him and fit him in, then you'd trust that judgment.
And like you're saying, with Bennell. The Tigers missed out, but really they were never in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no issues there.
Yeah.
And I think Ben Lennon was. He's now signed on again.
Yeah, but he was putting his name out there.
He was putting his name out there, or he was floated out there by Richmond, and he was a little bit disappointed that he didn't make the 22 for the finals.
Yeah.
So he's got every right to feel a little bit jilted there.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all. I think he was definitely showed enough talent to get a starting 22 gig, but you're competing against people in Richmond where you just can't fit in.
That's what they said.
But the thing is, when he did come on as sort of a secondary role, he did awesome.
Yeah.
And so he's definitely got the talent to play a first grade role and be in starting 22 week in, week out. It's just a matter of if Richmond can convince him that he can come in sort of, the 5 minutes in and play his positions.
I think the ball's really in his court now because he's got another contract for Richmond, so he's got a chance to show them that, guys, I'm fucking worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm best 22, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, and definitely got the talent to do it. So
anyway, I think that's about the state of the play for the trade period.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, we've covered the first half of trade week-ish, which is...
It's week and a half now.
Week and a half-ish, yeah.
I've got to say, usually it's 10% of trades are done on the first day and 90% are done on the last day. Yep. At least there's been consistent action all through. Makes it more interesting.
What time do trades... Oh, yeah, actually, no.
I think it's 4 o'clock on Thursday is the final.
Yeah. I was going to say, it'd be awesome to do like a live stream for the last half hour or something, but it'll be at work, so...
Yeah. AFL Trade Radio does that. So then, once that's all finished
up... They can't say cunt.
So, once that's all finished up, everyone starts looking at the draft, and there's another Rioli in the draft. He's the one I'm looking for.
And he's got all the attitude to match. Also in the combine, young Broken Hill lad, Tiziani.
Lockie
Tiziani. Apparently not broke the record, but bested everyone else in the vertical leap, vertical reach.
Running vertical leap standardised, I think.
Right.
Which means he didn't touch the highest, but he leaped
He's leaped off the ground.
So that means I expect some screamers. So if he... because he's played GWS reserves this year.
Yeah.
So he played on the same team as Adam Goods when Adam Goods dropped himself for 2 weeks.
Yeah, he would have too, yeah.
So if he plays, that's good. That'll be the second player in the AFL that I've played on the same team as their dad.
As a dad. Yeah, but young kid out from Broken Hill, showing lots of promise. So keep an eye out for him. I think that was in the Combine, wasn't it? The AFL Combine, not just the GWS one.
So I don't know if GWS have rights to him as an academy player or some shit like that.
I think they can nominate to pick him as one of their picks in a draft.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's free to go for whatever else. He's nominated first. So.
But, I mean, if you win... any event.
Yeah.
I don't know if event's the right thing or category at the Combine. It tweaks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And not only in AFL, there are other sports that are watching these combines.
Yeah, of course.
And they look at especially something like that and they're like, well, he could be, good fucking rugby player, I don't know. Yeah. Whatever else that applies to.
But he's
it does.
Yeah, like I said, I played, I don't know, half a dozen games back in Broken Hill with his old man Tony.
From a good breed.
Yeah. Tony played across the half-back line for...
Done very well for the Bulldogs. Fucking oath.
Tony could kick the ball 55 metres or nowhere.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
And let you know about it.
Yep. Yeah, he's a smart mouth too. Yeah, that's what you like.
That's the way it is in the bush.
All right, that might do us. We'll wrap it up.
Yep, we'll be back next Monday for all the action we've missed in the trade rounds.
But if you are listening to this, the AFL podcast, because that's what we do the most of, do go back to have a look at the two-parter we did last week.
Oh yeah, the gambling podcast.
The gambling podcast. Even if you don't like gambling, it's not encouraging gambling. Yeah. It's stories on the other side of it.
To be honest, we hang a lot of shit on some gambling organisations.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. But the stories you get, I love the old the road gambler stories and those kind of things. So these are stories from inside the mahogany room.
Yeah.
We went 3.5 hours. And could have gone for another couple.
We didn't even touch we
didn't go through the best story.
Yeah, for those that don't know, I was a croupier for 10 years or something, and worked in the high rollers at biggest casinos in Australia, and dealt to all the biggest players in the world. So got a fucking litany of stories and wrote them all down. I would have crossed off maybe 5 from a book that we actually got to tell.
You had at least 5 pages.
Yeah, well, more than that.
And there's still more stories I want to get out of Duncan, who joined us with us. So I think that topic might carry us through the summer.
Yeah.
So go back and listen to those, because honestly, when we do a podcast and I go back and listen to it and still laugh, you know that
some good value in there. Yeah.
We're on iTunes, fucking Facebook, YouTube,
Twitter,
SoundCloud,
Acast. If anyone listens,
go to the Facebook page, go to the website, clickingballs.com. You'll find us everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do us.
All right, peace.
Bye.